machine, but it's communities of people working together, and there's just tremendous benefit to seeing that happen. So we'll be hearing a lot more about that in a short time. The multiple window strategies, which I foresee as being extremely important and extremely beneficial. For the moment, I've been disappointed, actually, by the window managers that I've seen. They offer, in general, the kind of cluttered desktop strategy, which is user-managed and overlapped and independent. You open a window, you size it, you fill it, you work on it, and you close it. And there's too much going on there. That's too much of wrestling with the machine. I think we can do better. I think we're still at the level of sort of assembly language manipulation of windows. We need to move, and here I see very big benefits as it happens, towards task-related layouts, where a series of windows emerge because the user is carrying out a certain task and the designer has figured out a good strategy to lay out the information. If you're doing physician's desk reference on the computer and you wish to treat a certain symptom, and there are possibly 6 possible treatments, then you want to get a screen which maybe looks like this and has 6 windows on it with information that fills automatically. If you scroll any one of them to see the contraindications, all 6 scroll. Once you make a selection, all 6 windows disappear and you return to the previous state. Okay? Should minimize the number of window commands. Do a count of the number of commands you're doing that manipulate the windows as a ratio with the number of commands you're doing that focus on your task. And I think you'll then understand what the potential improvement is. If we could eliminate all the window manipulation, so much the better. We've done it in some applications. We're finding the ways more and more to do that. There are a number of strategies that we and others have, seen for doing this coordination. Certainly the independent window strategy is what most systems have now. Synchronized scrolling, a simple idea that in the cases where it helps tremendously. If you're looking at 2 documents and comparing them, it's just great to be able to synchronize their scrolling. Copy screen, you see something you want, you just take a snapshot with 1 keystroke, and you then can page the other screen and you still see the information you want, sort of like tearing a sheet off the top of a pad. Being able to select things on one screen and produce results on another screen is very important. One of the ways we use that is by the hierarchical browser, where in the version that we had, the top of the screen had a hierarchical nested indented presentation of the functions of a program. When you point at one of them, you get the body of the program on below. If you point at another one, you get the body right there. So that gives you 2 levels of detail, and I am a promoter of that principle. A stable, visible, high-level view which is used for selection to produce the low-level details in another window. And that's what we call a hierarchical browser. We've used it for programming, we've used it for text, and it works, I think, quite nicely. Panning and rotation, when you have multiple screens and windows, you want to have strategies for moving them around, and we've been trying to develop that. And trigger changes, where a change in one window may produce multiple changes in multiple windows. If you change the name of a variable in a program and the data declaration section, you'd like it to change in all of the windows which are open on that program automatically. Okay? So we want to trigger changes. There are many more examples which I think can be effective. One of the controversial issues has been about user interface versus artificial intelligence, and I'm going to sort of address that directly. I prefer to work on UI versus AI, and when I talk about UI, I'm talking about you and I is my emphasis here, and I'm focusing on the user. The UI builds on the user, the AI focuses on the machine. There are some